So, you're playing on Nightmare, and you've ended up with these evidences: EMF level 5 and ghost rating, which gives you the 3 ghosts to pick from, which are the Spirit, the Shade, and the Myling. Since you're on Nightmare difficulty, you won't be getting any additional evidences, and you will not be able to see your sanity. Before we get into the nitty-gritty for each of the ghosts, let's talk about the basics of each of the ghosts. Just a side note before we fully dive into this video, all these clips that you'll be seeing in the background will be from my Twitch stream, which you can find at twitch.tv/socksty. I will leave a link in the description. I try to stream every day between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. Sometimes I go later, sometimes I go shorter. Just all really depends on how I'm feeling that day. So with that, let's get into the video. The Spirit can hunt at 50% sanity, has normal speed and interaction rates, and has normal footstep sounds. Smudges work longer against the Spirit, 3 minutes as opposed to 90 seconds. The Spirit is sort of difficult to test for, as another ghost could just refuse to hunt for 3 minutes after a smudge, but it's the only real test for a Spirit. Usually ruling other ghosts out is easier than ruling out a Spirit. The Shade can hunt at 35% sanity. It has normal speed and normal footstep sounds. Shade's interaction rate is a bit different than other ghosts. If a player is in the room with it or not, will change the interaction rate of the Shade. The Shade cannot perform EMF level 3 type interactions if a player is in the same room as it. Do note that the EMF level 5 can still be found, as it's only a 25% chance on any EMF level. The Shade can also not hunt if a player is in the same room as it. Shades can be easy to rule out, but sometimes they are difficult to be sure of. The Myling can hunt at 50% sanity, has normal speed and interaction rates, but has very quiet footstep sounds. It also makes more ghost sounds on the parabolic microphone. This is considered its weakness, though I wouldn't call this conclusive when testing for sounds on paramic. A Myling test will be pretty conclusive unless the house is small and the only hiding spot is in the center of the house. These ghosts do have similarities, which makes testing for them sort of specific. That being said, they all have normal hunting speeds, and 2 of which have the same hunt threshold, and the other 2 have the same smudge cooldown. The test that I will be going over will cover all of these and help you differentiate which ghost you have on your hands. So now we're going to dive in and get into the testing phase for each of the ghosts. One of the best things you can do to test for a Shade in this scenario is get your sanity to 0 by using your cursed object. This might be difficult if your cursed object is the tarot cards, as you will need to get a moon card or multiple red Wheel of Fortune cards to get to 0%. Alternatively, you wait in a hiding spot in a dark room to lower sanity, though this will take some time. Once at 0 sanity, take 2 pills, meaning you'll be at 50%, as each give 25% on Nightmare. Now bring a candle, and a smudge just in case. If the ghost is the Shade, it will not attempt to hunt you, but be wary of getting ghost events that may drop your sanity. Now if you are getting hunted during this time, it will not be a Shade, as you will have too high of sanity for you to be hunted. There are a few ways to rule out a Shade. The easiest one is getting a ghost event at very high sanity. Shades have a 0% chance to succeed a ghost event attempt at 100% sanity, though the chance to succeed goes up by 2% each sanity percent you've decreased, up to 100% chance to succeed in an attempted ghost event at 50%. So if you get a ghost event near 100% sanity, it is very unlikely to be a Shade. So spirits are very bare bones in what sort of ghost it is, making it hard to be absolutely sure what it is. The only real test for a spirit is to be in hunt sanity range, which is the best way to tell a Nightmare is to just get hunted. Then either during the hunt or after the hunt, smudge the ghost and or the ghost room, and then wait. Of these 3 ghosts, 2 which will be able to hunt after 90 seconds, but the spirit will not hunt for 3 minutes after being smudged. So in this test, if the ghost hunts before 3 minutes, you can rule out the spirit. Though, if it hunts after 3 minutes, you cannot be 100% sure if it is a spirit, because a ghost could just choose not to hunt before that time. Mylings have a pretty easy tell if it is or is not a Myling, that being the sound of its footsteps during hunts. Since Mylings have quieter footsteps, a good test for this is to get hunted and run to a hiding spot. Right before you go into the hiding spot, turn on your flashlight and throw it on the ground. Then go into the hiding spot. Now you will listen for footsteps while seeing if the flashlight is flickering. If you hear footsteps and the flashlight is not flickering, it is not a Myling. Note that this only works if the ghost is on the same floor as you. If you do not hear footsteps until the flashlight starts flickering, it's a Myling. The footsteps should sound a little softer as well. Mylings have the most obvious tell of the 3 ghosts in this scenario, though the test can be difficult on certain maps, especially when the hiding spots are in the middle of the small houses. You can also use different equipment for the test, such as a DOTS projector, as it's easy to tell when the interference is going off. Ideally, you'll begin testing after you figured out both EMF level 5 and ghost writing. Otherwise, you might be wasting your time. So once knowing that, use your cursed item to get you to 0% sanity and to trigger a hunt. Before starting the hunt though, set up a Myling test right outside where you're going to hide. Once you trigger the hunt, try to attract the ghost to outside of your hiding spot and then go hide. If you smudge the ghost during this time, take note of when the hunt ends. Listen for footsteps. If you hear them outside of interference range, you can rule out the Myling. If you can only hear the footsteps when the equipment is being interfered with, it is a Myling. Assuming you've either figured out that it is or is not a Myling, you can move on to part 2 of this test. As soon as the hunt ends, go immediately to the ghost room and smudge it. If you smudge during the hunt, make sure you made note of when the hunt ended. Now set a timer. You can do this in-game with the video camera or the panoramic mic, as they both have timers on them, or you can keep track of this using another timer. We're testing to rule out if it is a spirit or if it is a shade, so do not stay in the ghost room with it, as a shade will not hunt you with you in it, which could make you believe it's a spirit after smudging it. After 90 seconds are up, if the ghost is a shade, it will be able to hunt. So if the ghost hunts after 90 seconds, but before those 3 minutes are up, it will be a shade in this scenario. The only issue with this is that the ghost could wait 3 minutes after the smudge before trying to hunt again, even if it isn't a spirit. So to be absolutely sure, take 2 sanity pills. This will bring you back to 50% sanity, assuming that you are at 0%. Next, bring a candle and keep it lit. Go back to the investigation area. If the ghost is a shade, no hunt attempts will happen. If it's a spirit, it will be able to hunt. Be aware of ghost events, as they will drop your sanity, which could lead you into getting below 35%, which means a shade can also hunt. This scenario becomes much tougher if you've run out of smudge sticks and or sanity pills. You will have to look out for the activity happening while you are in the room with it. Look for any EMF level 3 interactions while staying in the ghost room. If you do not get any, it could be a shade. However, if you do get an EMF level 3 in this situation, it will be a spirit. Also, if the ghost hunts while in the room with you, in the same room as you, it will be a spirit, as the shade won't hunt if it's in the same room as you. Though, do be careful, as a shade could hunt in the room next to you or behind you, which could leave you with little time to escape. So as for the scenario difficulty in this situation, I'm going to give this one 2 out of 5 stars, with 5 stars being the hardest and 1 star being the easiest. The reason for this rating is that while the ghosts do require hunts for a full test, the ghosts aren't early hunters, nor are they faster than other ghosts, meaning you should be safe. The Myling Tail is the easiest of the 3, which is why you would want to start by ruling that out, which leaves you with just the spirit and the shade. You can rule out shades if they do actions that cause EMF level 3 while you are in the room, or if they do a ghost event at very high sanity, especially if they do multiple ghost events. Also, you can rule it out if it hunts in the same room as you. There's only one way to rule out a spirit, by using the smudge and seeing when it hunts. However, it is difficult to know if it is a spirit. Usually you have to rule out the shade rather than finding conclusive spirit evidence. Overall, not the hardest of scenarios you can be in on Nightmare, but potentially one of the more boring options you can get, as you will have to wait a while to figure out the ghost. These ghosts aren't particularly dangerous, though a Myling may catch you off guard because you don't hear the footsteps that well. But for the most part, you won't die to these ghosts if it spots you running away from it. A shade is my go-to option when the ghost isn't doing much, and a spirit is a simple smudge test away from ruling it out. I hope that this helps you in case you are stuck with these 3 ghosts. In the future, if there's another ghost with these 2 pieces of evidence added, I will update this video. Hey everyone, I just wanted to thank you if you made it this far into the video for watching the whole thing. I really do appreciate it. I hope you found this very informational and can help you out in your Nightmare runs. If you like the video, please drop a like. I would very much so appreciate it. You don't have to. I don't mind too much, but it would make me happy, and I would appreciate it. If you want to see more content like this, I plan on doing this for each of the ghost evidences you can have tied together. So subscribe, hit the bell if you want to see notifications on when you get the latest video from me. But yeah, if you want to see me stream, I try to stream every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern. I stream at twitch.tv/socksty. I will leave a link in the description for you to use. And yeah, for the next one, I will do EMF level 5 and fingerprints as the evidences. kind of noticed this last second, but I kind of did them out of order. I should have done EMF level 5 and then fingerprints, but who cares? We will do that one in the next video, and we will discuss what's the difference between those ghosts. And so, thank you, and have a amazing day.